Good morning. Welcome to the Thursday, February 27th, Carroll County Commissioners open session. And as we always prefer to do, we'll start with Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, do we want to go ahead and do the proclamation and the recognition
Wanna do that
before we
first?
each talk?
Sure. Whichever way we want to
Okay.
do it. You want to have Mr. Guyman, you want to come on up, and whoever else?
We need you guys up front, keeping us straight.
Yeah.
You can come up if you want to sit down.
Yeah, have
And
a seat.
then the three chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let the kids sit first. I'll stand. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
We all talk. I'm the ag teacher at Francis Scott Key High School, and we are representing Carroll County in our FFA farmer program. In our classes, it's our three-ring program that includes our curriculum, classroom instruction, FFA, which is our leadership and career building skills, and our supervised agriculture experience, which allows these students the opportunity to do individual projects that allows them to gain hands-on experience, whether it be for a career, something of passion, or any type of thing that they would like to research, gaining them things that they can use when they leave high school.
I appreciate you all coming in this morning. I guess we'll start, maybe read the proclamation first, or?
Who's
or
the
you wanna
guys
start?
in the back?
Yes.
Do they matter?
Do we care about
Thank you.
that?
We have Mr. McNett, who is our assistant superintendent, Aaron Guyman, as you all know, from Westwood High School, and we also have Brittany Stiles with us as well this morning from South Carroll.
Right. Thank you.
Well, it's great to have you all here. I'm going to start with reading the proclamation. So, National Future Farmers of America Week, February 15th through February 22nd. Whereas the National Future Farmers of America, FFA, organization has designated February 15th through February 22nd as National FFA Week, and the National FFA Organization and Agricultural Education provide a strong foundation for the youth of America, supporting the future of food, fiber, and natural resource systems, and the FFA promotes premier leadership, personal growth, and career success among its members. Furthermore, agricultural education and the FFA play a crucial role in ensuring a steady supply of young professionals to meet the growing demands in the science, business, and technology of agriculture. And the FFA motto, learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, living to serve, gives purpose and direction to students who actively engage in agricultural education. The organization also promotes citizenship, volunteerism, patriotism, and cooperation, and the Board of Carroll County Commissioners proudly recognizes the Maryland FFA Association as the state agricultural youth leadership organization, which consists of nearly 3,000 members across 50 chapters, 7 of which are in Carroll County. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Carroll County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim February 15th through February 22nd as National FFA Organization Week, adopted this 13th of February 2025. Signed, the Board of County Commissioners.
I want to thank you guys for all you do, and it's awesome whether I see you guys at schools or at the Ag Center. I think it's awesome. And can you share with us the diversity of what you guys do? You guys don't just raise animals. You do speaking, you do judging, you do. Can you share a little bit with us the extent of what you do?
Hi, my name's Emma, and I'm part of the Westminster chapter. I'm the president there. And I compete on our horse judging team, or horse evaluation, and that's where we go and look at the horse and the build of the horse. And I'm really hoping I can get my team to go to nationals this year.
Very cool.
I'm Victoria. I am also a part of the Westminster chapter. I also do horse judging, but then I also do the Vet Sciences CDE, which is basically a CDE based on vet skills that you'll use in the veterinary field if you go into a career in that field. I also do poultry judging or poultry evaluation, which is very similar to horse judging, but with poultry.
My name's Emily Fritz. I'm from the Francis Scott Key FFA chapter. Personally, I've competed in conduct of chapter meetings, which is parliamentary procedure with our FFA opening ceremonies, livestock and dairy evaluation, and then this year I'm planning to do milk quality and products. Another thing our chapter is really big on is ag mechanics. We have an agronomy team, we have a couple public speakers, and we have another conduct of chapter meetings team again this year, and we participate in a lot of community service outreach and outreach to the younger students in our district.
My name is Emily Bartolane, and I'm the president of the South Carroll FFA chapter. Some of the things I participated in was the meats evaluation team last year, where we qualified for nationals. And then right now I'm working on the vet science team, which you learn about the different tools that vets use in different animals, and it helps you learn about the career as a vet. And then for public speaking, I'm on March 8th, I'm competing for employment skills.
Thank you.
For what
Commissioners?
skills? I'm sorry.
Employment skills.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just start. I mean, been doing this for a few years, and every time I've become more appreciative of our community because of young ladies like you providing service, and that's in your charter to our community, and also citizenship. And I take that word really important personally. The difference between just being being a civilian and being a citizen. Being a civilian is someone who is bringing in, opportunities that the community provides. Being a citizen is someone who is engaged, is someone who gets themselves involved and makes a better community. So again, that's in your charter for good citizenship, and you have shown that. You young ladies, in all the things you've done, and best of luck for your futures. Are any of you seniors or going to be rising seniors? Are you a senior now? Are you going to go to school? Where are you going to go?
I haven't completely committed to a college yet, but I'm thinking of an agriculture institute or a 2-year junior
Okay.
college program.
Yeah.
For ag communications and livestock production and management.
Fantastic. And I'll tell you, such a growing, community itself is ag, business and ag economy. And obviously we do it very well here in the Carroll County community. So, best of luck to you and all of you. So thanks.
And I'll just associate myself with Commissioner Rothstein's comments, and I'll also thank Commissioner Kyler for asking you about what it is that you do in addition, because everybody has this, I guess, kind of opinion that FFA is about farming, but there's such a diversity of what you actually do. And not only that, the amount of time and effort and learning and skill that it takes to do what you do is incredible. I mean, I don't think, maybe with the exception of Commissioner Kyler, because he's pretty agrarian. I don't think any of the rest of us could hold a candle to what you do now at your age. And you are absolutely incredible and impressive. And I think that you are the future of the county. And I think it really goes without saying that, or I guess it should be said, that that diversity of what you do and the amount of time and effort that it takes to do it is worth commending. So.
Yeah, and lastly, well, first of all, go Cavs. Once a Cavalier, always a Cavalier. I got to throw that in there. My experience with FFA was when I was at South Carroll in the late 80s, and it was a very close-knit group. And obviously, there's so much more going on with FFA today, that many years later. Maybe to close things out, you could just speak a little bit about who can get involved and how they would go about doing it. I mean, I'm sure there's a website, so that's probably a great place to start. But is that the best way for people to learn more about what you do, and what are the requirements to join, if there are any at all?
There's no requirements to join. Anyone can join it as long as they're enrolled in an ag class. Then you're also able to compete on a team. You're able to access any information about it through the National FFA website. And then, anyone want to jump on?
Yeah. Basically, like everyone in our school is welcome to join, and we do a lot of advertising and trying to get ourselves on social media so people learn more about us and what we do. And we're very open to any new member to try and support anything that they would like to do, because there are so many skills that might not be related directly to agriculture that they could use in their future.
Yeah.
That is important.
So hopefully everybody heard that. Anybody can join. That right from FFA. And you mentioned obviously the agrarian focus is very key. Interesting information this week coming out of Hawaii, of all places. Everybody knows, most people know who Larry Ellison is. He's one of the most richest people in the world. And he spent millions of dollars on this awesome little island off Hawaii to build greenhouses and use AI to grow crops, and he was going to figure everything out without having to actually use agricultural land. And this week he declared it was a complete failure, and they closed it down. So, I mean, let that be a reminder to what really is the reality that we all live in. We need agriculture. You can't replace it. So, anyway, congratulations, ladies.
Yes, congratulations, and I appreciate you all for coming in this morning. I think Commissioner Vigliotti pretty much said it best. I mean, but the thing is, it's not just Carroll County, it's our state, it's our nation, and, the fact is, it's not, when people think of farming or agriculture, some of the things that come to mind, I don't think they really think it through. And I mean, it's been mentioned here this morning, science, business, technology, interacting with people, all those components that work together for that. And I have to bring it up because it drives me nuts every time I see it or I hear about it. But there was a letter to the editor years ago in a newspaper, and they were like, "Well, why?" And this is hunting, not farming. But they're like, "Why can't you just go to the grocery store? Why do you have to go hunt and get your food?" Well, we need people, and especially young people, to fill that gap and take over that next generation and keep doing what you all are doing. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. And, the fact that, we live in challenging times where volunteerism sometimes has lessened, but it's great to see, you all stepping up and everybody else to continue this on. I appreciate it.
Okay, we need to do a photo. It's enough of you. Should we stay up here? Or? Yeah, we'll stand up behind you, and all of you come up here and hold your proclamation and get a good photo. Yeah.
You can take your badges off.
Take your badges off. I don't need no stickers. You take your badge off.
Thank you. Sir, they did pretty well at excluding you two.
They're the leaders. Every time, too.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like your picture.
Yes.
Okay, we also have a certificate of recognition. I think probably no one is here for it, but we'd like to read it.
You want me to wait a second, or?
Yeah. Let's. Thanks for coming, guys.
Have a good day.
All set? So I want to read a certificate of recognition, which is awarded to Todd E. Eckenrode in recognition of your 20 years and 4 months of dedicated service to the residents of Carroll County, Maryland. We would like to express our sincere gratitude. Throughout your career with the county, you were promoted to Maintenance Technician 1, 2, and 3, and your contributions at the Carroll County Community College campus were invaluable. Thank you for your hard work and dedication, and we wish you a long and healthy retirement. So we have a certificate for Mr. Eckenrode whenever he gets that. So God bless you, and good luck in your future endeavors.
Yes, thank you very much for being part of the county. I think we start with Commissioner Rothstein this week.
Okay, not a whole lot to share throughout this past week, but the importance of the budget that's coming up. We're going to start our conversations next week, and the key thing about the budget, it is our budget. It is the community's budget. It is Carroll County's budget, and it is a very large operational budget. That's going to be some hard decisions that are going to be made. And the only way we can make hard decisions that are going to be confronting us is with you. And so your input collectively matters. And I know, I'd like to share just my colleagues and I are very appreciative, especially when they're candid thoughts that are direct, not the form letter approach that we want something, but here's what we want, why we want it, or here's where some ideas are. The more candid and thoughtful, the better for me, and I try to be responsive to you. And that's what we've been receiving a lot of recently with decisions made from the Board of Education. We will, continue working with them, and we will figure out how to develop this budget by law by May 31st. But between now and then, your insight and input matters most. So, thanks.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'll associate myself with Commissioner Rothstein's comments.
Associate yourself twice now with me.
Yeah, I tell you.
I guess we're getting along today.
Oh,
I see a
not really.
pattern developing.
But no, we've all been getting a larger number of emails than usual relating to the budget. And as Commissioner Rothstein said, we're trying to keep up. We're trying to respond to as much as we can. It gets a little difficult sometimes with the sheer amount that we're getting. But, we are looking at all of them, and we are doing our best to respond. So second, I had the pleasure of being in Union Bridge on Monday evening to present to the council on the Enough Act. Although Mayor Perry Jones was absent, Council President Laura Conaway did an amazing job leading the meeting, and I cannot thank her and the council enough for their kindness and their welcoming of Ed Singer, Addie Elsinger, and Maria Lowry and myself to that meeting. I can only commend Ed, Addie, and Maria for representing the county so well at that meeting and for presenting on the Enough Act as well as they did as well. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out of thanks to Joanne Frederick and Stop MPRP Incorporated. As we continue to take a stand against the power lines, MPRP has updated their filing, and they did that a couple of weeks ago to include access roads. And MPRP was able to run some numbers. So there are going to be 303 access roads created for the power lines across all three counties, and that's going to destroy another 140 acres of land. So I'm going to work on trying to get some Carroll County specific numbers, but 303 access roads and another 140 acres of land for this power line. But I thought that was important information to share, and again, I want to thank Ms. Frederick and Stop MPRP Incorporated for their continuing opposition and work on this as well. And Commissioner, that's all for me this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gordon.
Good morning. Just a couple really brief things. First and foremost, I know the weather's gotten nice, but let's all just be a little careful out there. I know there's been a couple pretty serious accidents of late. Happened to come up on one yesterday that was about 4 cars in the area. So I know we're all happy the weather's getting nice, but let's just take our time a little bit if we can and look out for all of our friends and neighbors. Other thing I want to mention this morning, this Saturday, March 1st from 9 to 1 p.m. will be National History Day Expo, which will be held at Winters Mill High School. It's always a good time to stop out. Numerous exhibits, artifacts, student exhibits, and a lot more. There's going to, I know Commissioner Rothstein, I think you're judging at that, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of confirmed exhibitors, including Babylon Vault, that's going to be promoting the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Traveling Wall, which will be here in the fall. Carroll County Farm Museum, Carroll County Public Library, former students and friends of Robert Moton, Carroll County Historical Society, and quite a few more. I'm not going to mention them all this morning, but there's probably about a dozen to 20 different exhibitors, but definitely a good event to come out to, whether you want to bring your kids or you just want to come out and learn more about history and check out student events. A great time. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Garin.
Good morning, Carroll County. I'm going to try to make this quick. It might take a couple minutes. First of all, I want to mention again for the last time, this evening is the first responder, law enforcement, and military career fair at the Carroll County Tech Center. Middle schoolers, high schoolers are welcome, so get your students there. I also want to briefly talk about the solar projects that are ongoing here in the county. As everyone is aware, the board voted to not allow solar projects on agricultural land, but some of those projects are still working through the Public Service Commission. I want to thank Commissioner Kyler for all your work with the Public Service Commission and attending all those meetings. I know it's time consuming, and I want to thank Commissioner Rothstein for his work on the legislative end of it. So if people are wondering if we're still working on this issue or not, we absolutely are. I also want to take a couple minutes to address the issue of this Carroll County Public School System budget. And it was mentioned earlier, we're getting a lot of emails, which I think is great. And I like emails, and I do read them all, whether they're cut and paste emails or not. I read your emails. But I want to address just a few things I've seen there with the understanding that I'm not going to change anybody's mind. I may make people more angry than they already are, but I think it's worth stating, and I want to get some comments out and thoughts out. We're getting a lot of emails regarding per pupil funding. If you are focused solely on what it costs, if you're so focused solely on inputs and spending more money, you're avoiding the key factor of outcomes. And you clearly have not been paying attention to what's going on in the state here, where certain jurisdictions are spending an overwhelming amount of money on per pupil funding, and it's not making for better schools or for better students. It's also worth mentioning that I don't remember getting a lot of emails about per pupil funding in the past couple of years, and now there seems to be a lot of them. So let's focus on outcomes, which is something Blueprint doesn't do. I understand that it is a easy talking point. I have seen everything that says we're in the bottom half for per pupil funding, but there are statistics that say we're in the top half. So just keep that in mind. If we're talking about outcomes and increasing the efficacy of education, making better schools and better students, that's not always the answer. I also want to address this issue of the Board of Carroll County Commissioners having cut funding in the past 10 or 15 years. That is not true. Since July of 2024, the FY25 budget, previous boards, and including this one, has consistently provided more money than what is considered measures of effectiveness, or OEE. Basically, that's just what was funded the previous year. To the tune of $41 million. That is an increase in funding. $41 million more over the course of 11 years, essentially, is more money. The issue of Blueprint, and that's with enrollments, for the most part, being relatively flat, which is an important factor as well. So yes, there's teachers' raises, there's inflation. $44 million is a lot of money. That's not a cut. That's an increase in funding. I'm getting emails, I'm seeing them where the first line says fund Blueprint. That is not an accurate statement. We cannot fund Blueprint. I think what you're asking is that we provide money to offset the effects of Blueprint to the tune of $44 million and $57 million. A lot of questions regarding that. I tell you what, the only entity that has not funded Blueprint is your Maryland State General Assembly. There's a $3 billion deficit this year. Blueprint will cost $30 billion over the next 10 years. So if you're talking about funding Blueprint, that's not an accurate statement for this board. You want to look towards Annapolis. They have not funded it, and now they've got a real deficit on their hands. And it is not pretty, and we all know what's probably coming down the pike. I'm not in a, again, I'm not in a habit of defending previous boards. They can do that themselves. But this board in particular tried to get ahead of the curve on Blueprint funding for the past 2 years. But funding Blueprint, I think you mean offset the effects of Blueprint or the damages. And everything I see so far says we're still in a bind whether we did that or not. Lastly, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, is just make a few comments about the Board of Ed meeting last week, which resulted in the $15 million request for more funding. I wasn't aware they were going to do that. I don't think many people were. It may not even have been on the agenda, which is fine. You can talk about anything you want during your board meetings. But voting against that was the act of courage. And now we're still going to have to deal with the ramifications of that. And my hope going forward is that we're all recognizing the fact that Blueprint isn't based on outcomes. It's based on incomes and inputs and spending more money, and we've got to work together. So I'm looking forward to be doing that with the Board of Education. I think we all are. There's a lot of details to work out. We have more questions than answers at this point. But we understand, obviously, that it is a serious issue for people. Parents are rightly distressed about what they're seeing. But again, I just want to try to dispel some inaccuracies. My thoughts on the right way to approach this, particularly with the language. And, it's not over yet. It is only February, the end of February. We've got time to work on this. We're talking about it constantly. But I just wanted to address some of those comments in the emails, which, again, I appreciate, but there is a lot to learn about this Blueprint. And the more you learn about it, the more you quickly understand that it is just an all-in-all bad deal, and there's not much you can do about it. So that leads us all to work together, and obviously we're hoping we can do that. And that's all for me. Thanks.
Thank you. And I was going to mention some stuff on Carroll County Public Schools, but you did it better. But I'd like to emphasize a couple things. One, yes, we're 41 million ahead of MOE funding the schools. And that's for their operating budget, which is ongoing money. So that's every year we're that much ahead. And this year, I can predict we'll be a little bit more ahead. I don't know how much. We'll see how it works out. Of importance, and you described Blueprint pretty well, Rachel Heiss, who's head of the AIB now, and the Kerwin Commission for a few years, consistently said that Carroll County overfunds their schools, and therefore their extra contribution because of Blueprint would be $0. A lot of other counties had big figures. We were promised $0. Those very same people are now saying you need to get more local funding if the state's giving you all we can, blah blah blah. So it's a tough situation, and Blueprint. And lastly, I do want to say the Board of Education members, they have a handout they're passing out. I heard about it at Lunch About Nothing this week. Their handout says, don't badger the county commissioners. It's the state that's a problem, and they give delegation people, they give AIB people, they give MSDE people. They said, these are the people you should contact. This is how you contact them, and that addresses the problem. So I do appreciate that they're doing that. Commissioner Gordon and I met with the Historic Westminster Cemetery Committee. It was interesting. We heard some history, we heard some rules, and I know I'm involved with Emmanuel Lutheran Church. It's not easy managing a cemetery, and I don't think they have any churches that are really part of running that.
Correct.
And in many cases, there's a church involved. And in Hampstead, I think Eline, the funeral people manage that one, and it's not easy. A lot of wrestling going on. County tournament was last week. I congratulate everybody that wrestled in that. Regionals are this weekend at various locations, and good luck to everybody in that. And then that follows up with states. You mentioned solar, and we've been having the public hearings. It's been good. I just would encourage everybody to get to them. You can do it virtually, or you can do it by showing up on some of them. And please testify. My biggest concern is that we said it shouldn't be on ag, and it looks like it's gonna be. But if they happen, and one's already been approved, my biggest concern is PSC, don't waive our local control. We will work with the developer, with the solar company, with the property owner, but they need to have proper screening, they need to have proper offsets, they need to have proper stormwater management. Please don't start doing a bunch of waivers where we don't get to review that, because I think that's very important. If ag and some residential neighborhoods are gonna have these, even though they don't want them, at least let us make sure they follow all the rules. And then lastly, this afternoon, from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., there's a master plan open house at Carroll County Public Library, the North Carroll branch. It's kind of a stop in and talk to them, spend an hour if you want there. You do not have to be there at 1, and you do not have to stay till 7. Just stop by between those hours, and you'll get some good information on how we're developing a master plan. And thank you, guys.
And I just want to say real quick to Commissioner Garrett and to you, Commissioner Kyler, those were excellent comments, especially as it related to Blueprint in the school. So thank you both for that.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. And since you are evaluating us, the knot on my tie is not symmetrical. I need your help later, okay? Legislative update. Pam, I saw you briefly. We need you back. Oh, there you
There she
are.
is.
Sorry, just had to get out of a different screen. Good
morning.
morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm going to share my screen and let's make sure you can see the update. Okay, do you see this slide?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll get started. There's a lot happening at this point of session, and we're going to go through a few things today. You know about most of this, but I want to share it anyway, just as a reminder and for the public who are watching. We've talked about this earlier in session, but we're getting to this important point. We're over halfway through where bills are really going to start moving through committee. And you're going to start to get more updates from me about things getting passed, withdrawn, getting different reports. And we're looking at the crossover dates coming up shortly, which is when bills have to go from their originating chamber to the other. So things are going to start speeding up. As you can see, there have been quite a few bills introduced this year. And today I'm just sharing a little bit more background so you can see the topics. These are all the different committees in the House and the Senate. And you can just get a feel for the number of bills right now that they're looking at on any number of topics. So some bills are going to, pretty much die in committee and never get heard from the light of day, but others are going to start moving through and we're hearing more about them. So if there's a topic that we haven't talked about that you hear about that's important, please continue to bring it to my attention so we can weigh in, so that I can monitor it, so I can check in with the committees. My goal in the next week or two is going to be following up with committee chairs and their staff to make sure that the things that are most important to Carroll County are moving and hopefully in the direction that you all want them to move. So some of the things that we've spent a lot of time on recently have been voicing your positions on a variety of topics. The top 4 letters are going to go out later today. They have not yet gone out because I'm still making sure that a few of you who I've not heard from don't want to weigh in, but I am sending them this afternoon. So if you want to have your name on these energy independence, forest conservation issues and letters, please reach out to me. They're in your inbox, but if you need to see them again, let me know and I'll send them your way. I'm going to send them out later this afternoon, so you have a little bit of time to get in touch with me with any questions. Last week, we sent the iGaming letter out from all of you opposing that issue. Commissioner Rothstein mentioned it at last week's session. Tomorrow, there are hearings on the Budget Reconciliation Financing Act, also known as BRFA, as well as a package of 3 energy bills, including House Bill 1036, which is the Public Utilities Renewable Energy Certainty Act. These are 2 huge issues this session. Starting with the BRFA, the letter that you sent was supporting with amendments because it's addressing the over $7 million cost shifts that the governor's budget is proposing to come Carroll County's way. And that's mainly in the form of the teacher pension shift that was a 50-50 split that now, thanks to the Department of Legislative Services proposal, is proposed to be the full 100% shift, as well as SSTAT and a few others. And the thing that's alarming about a lot of these shifts is they're not even just one time. Most of them are ongoing. So these are huge financial burdens. And the main argument that we made in the letter, which is also in your inbox if you haven't had a chance to review it and you can read it in its entirety, is saying that these cost shifts are going to hurt the infrastructure in the county and potentially, trickle down in unintended ways beyond just what is recognized, because the money has to come from somewhere. So, as mentioned earlier, and every week I've said there's a $3 million deficit, but with the potential of some of these cost shifts coming down and other things coming from the feds that we'll know in the next couple of weeks once the continuing resolution is addressed, it could be even further a bigger burden. And we don't want to see that anywhere, of course, but I think that's why a lot of things are getting shifted or proposed to be shifted to the counties, because they're just not sure where to come up with the funds. So we are being loud through Carroll County in our opposition, as are our partners across the state and MACO. And I think the goal is going to be to make sure that these are, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have this in presentation mode. I just realized that. That these are really, huge, huge issues that are going to be coming your way. So you'll be hearing from me more and more as session continues, so that I can share with you what else you need to address or weigh in on. And I know that sometimes I'm coming to you with like hours or less for turnaround time. And I apologize for that, but that's the nature of session sometimes. So just stay tuned and we'll do our best to get in touch with you when we need you quickly. The energy package of bills, in particular, this one piece of legislation, House Bill 1036, is coming up for consideration tomorrow in a joint hearing, and Commissioner Rothstein will be there, I believe, to testify in person. We've submitted the written testimony, and our goal is to make sure that there's proper notification and not just mandates and decisions made on behalf of local governments. Some of these bills are pretty awful, some are pretty benign, but the goal is to try to mitigate any consequences that could be negative. I've been hearing that there are some potential conversations going on with MACO's team to try to do some things behind the scenes and have some amendments, and they're getting some progress here. So as I hear more and more details, I will let you know where that's going. But these are the big issues that we've been working on the last week and that are coming up in the coming few days. I just want to, while we're at this point, thank all of the commissioner's support team, particularly Christine and Kathy, who helped me pull together all of these letters and make sure that everything, was the way it should be. And also to each of you commissioners who've weighed in and given me your opinions and thoughts and backgrounds so that we can tailor all of the letters of support or opposition to the county, and making sure that we're addressing really not just generic issues, but bringing it home to the county so that those in Annapolis who are looking at this understand why it matters here and not just, seeing something that another jurisdiction could have sent equally. We've gone through a lot of legislation in the last few weeks, and I'm just, going to quickly go through and share that all of these bills, some you'll see in your packet, the notes there, have notes to show you whether they've been withdrawn, whether they are remaining in the same place that they were before, or they have upcoming hearings. For the most part, they've either had a hearing and are awaiting consideration by the full originating House bodies, the House or the Senate, or they are awaiting a hearing. There are a couple that have been withdrawn, and I will continue to update this section in the coming weeks. And when there's something more interesting to share, other than they have a hearing coming, or they've been withdrawn, I will make sure to mention it to you and let you know what's going on. But my goal is to keep you abreast of some of these issues. There are a handful of bills that departments have asked me to track that are not in here yet that I'm going to add for next week so that they and you can see where those bills are. And if there's any issue that you don't see in your packet that you have questions about, please do let me know and I'll make sure to include it so you can know their status or what we've done. And if there's a need to weigh in further and speak to members in Annapolis about something, I can certainly do that as well. But that's what's been happening this past week and what's coming in the next few days. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have at this time.
I just want to say thank you for the letters and the testimony and the help with that. I think we've been active with Annapolis, but we're probably more active this year with testimony and writing, and thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you very much from me as well.
Thank you.
Guys, any other comments or questions?
I have one quick one, Pam, and I don't unfortunately know what the bill numbers are. Could we look into and see, I know there was talk of a suggested $10 million budget cut for victim services in Maryland, which would impact victims, survivors of human trafficking, sexual assault, child abuse, and various other individuals. Could we look into that and see where that is in the process?
Yes.
I don't want to speak for everybody up here, but I have a feeling we would all support being against them making that cut, but would like to see if we could figure out where that is in committee and if there's opportunity to weigh in.
Okay, yes, I'll take a look and see if I can find the bill or if it's somewhere in Burfer or something hidden,
Okay.
and then we'll figure out how to address it.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
Hey, Pam, I'm going to touch base with you after, have the written comments. I want to make sure my talking points are put together, because it's two
Yes, I will
separate.
send you an email as soon as I leave here to make sure you have them clear, because they were in a lot of different places, what we
Right.
sent back and forth yesterday, and I'll make sure that they're easy for you to find.
Okey dokey pokey. Thanks.
All right, thank you all, and we'll be in touch. Have a great rest of your day.
You
too.
too. Take care.
Thanks.
Next item is the State's Attorney's Office approval to submit and accept an award of a grant.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Commissioners. As is so often the case when we come over for grants, I'm just here for eye candy. So I'll defer to the guys who know what they're talking
Like the
about.
Sour Patch Kid or something?
Exactly.
You're doing that job well.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll defer to Tim from my office and Rich from CMC.
Good morning, Commissioners. First and foremost, I really want to thank you guys for all the support that you give me in the role that I do at the State's Attorney's Office, because Haven and I have talked about this often, that I'm pretty sure there's no other prevention treatment person that works in the State's Attorney's Office, and you guys play a big role on that, and I love the work that I do, and I appreciate it. So we're here today for we've applied for the Maryland Overdose Response, the MORE grant. It's my first time applying for a grant through the office. Some of this and a lot of the work that we're going to do with this is programs we already have in existence. We have, which many of you have seen, our 7th and 11th grade program through Carroll County Public Schools. 7th grade program, we partner with the health department, and one of their prevention people comes to the school with us. But we have a video that we want to update and get updated with the trends that are going on today and be able to redo that. And we also have the 11th grade program and some of the incentives and different things that we want to be able to give to students and teachers to help them get more involved and carry some of these programs long after we're there presenting to them. And the other one is a big one, probably the one that's probably the most impactful to me is our Camp Thrive program. And we partner with Carroll County Public Schools and CCYSB, where we have 30 kids that come to a camp. And these are kids that have suffered trauma through substance use in the home, substance use disorders in the home, as much as losing a parent to an overdose, to incarceration, or even having parents that are just even in early recovery and they've just experienced some trauma in the home. And hopefully, this deals with, the ACEs that they have and that they're dealing with. And we love this camp, and we want to be able to expand it and make it even better and more, either have 2 separate camps throughout the year or expand it to have more kids to be able to come. Right now, we do it just purely on donations and getting help from the community. And then I'm going to let Rich talk a little more about this. We started and piloted a program called Real Talk a couple of years ago, I think. And it's basically just a guest and speaking with different individuals. We've had from Judge Hecker through Drug Treatment Court has come all the way to harm reduction, people boots on the ground on the street. And we really want to expand that, be able to use, because the way to reach people now is obviously through videos and social media and different things that Rich's expertise comes into play. And they've been just incredible partners with us as long as I've been at the State's Attorney's Office, probably longer, but they do our vigil, which a quick shout out to you guys to let you know our vigil is May 22nd this year. It's the 10th annual, and it'll be at St. John's, just like it is every year. So they come every year and they video this for us, so we have it captured for, to go on for years to come. So I'm going to turn it over to Rich to talk about the logistics of everything.
Very good. Thanks, Tim. Good morning, Commissioners. Pleasure to be here.
Morning.
Thanks for your continued support, and particularly in this focused area of substance use disorder that occurs in our community. I'm sure as you reach out into your communities, you know many people who are affected by this, and to varying degrees, to significant impacts in our community. And I have always been impressed, and it's touched my family, and so it's when I heard Tim's story for the very first time, I knew there was going to be some greater opportunity for the CMC to be involved in this ability to educate, intervene, and help those who are trying to deal with the circumstances and lead towards healthy recovery. To that end, we found this grant that was available, and we're seeking your support for the grant, that it provides an opportunity to expand on some of the video programming that we're doing, as well as the other services that Tim talked about. Particularly on the video side, and we did this pilot that I helped to produce, highlighting Tim's work essentially by reaching out to his network, but talking about and bringing in individuals to demonstrate how we could have a conversation about these particular issues and impacts as they occur. They occur in different stages, and so it's important to see individuals having that discussion and discovery and figuring out how to solve the problems. So the idea was to bring individuals in, interview them on the one-on-one about their experiences, what could have made a difference in their circumstances, and then to talk as a group, how can we replicate that conversation that could happen over the kitchen table or the dining room table, so that people start to remove the stigma and normalize the conversation so that intervention can happen more effectively and sooner in the process. So, as you know, as Tim mentioned, we have a long history working with the State's Attorney's Office being a cost-effective partner in providing audiovisual services as well as production at various times. This is a more involved process, and the support that's available from the State Moores Grant will make this possible, as well as updating one of the existing we'll call it a docudrama, essentially, Don't Believe the Lie, which is really providing an insight for those who participate in the schools program to see youth actually talking about those issues as well. So it is our hope that this grant will be successful, but also give us the kinds of assets and materials and resources that we can spread beyond the normal kinds of intervention that happen through health education by using social media. My desire is to try and find a way. We've just launched a new website. That website has new technologies enabled in it. And our hope is that that will enable us to be able to target this content to where the need is greatest. So we're looking to be able to establish and basically build upon that. Having these assets, they'll be evergreen, so they'll, for the most part, be able to be used ongoing. So it's a great contribution to the effort.
Yeah, good.
So is this an annual grant? Is it a recurring grant? Is it something that you would have to apply for every year, or?
It's, I think you would have to apply to if it's around again next year, but it is a one-time shot.
And for 1 year.
Yeah. and for-
So outside of the grant, you have no intent or not, maybe intent is not the right word for it, but no consideration that this is something you would want to continue beyond this year? Or
Yeah.
you would like to, it just depends on whether the grant funding is available.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we have, on a shoestring budget, we've been able to make a lot of this work, but this would just, some of the programs, it would just really enhance it. So the plan is do this and then, move forward either with different grants or continuing as we've been going. Because, like, for instance, Don't Believe the Lie, we've had in the schools since 2016.
So, good presentation, and I like to always interject that I love Carroll County. Two of the things that you guys are doing today that I think we do best is maximize the use of grants, and the county contribution on this one is zero. It's not a matching grant, it's a 100% grant. And the other thing is working together, and here, State's Attorney, CMC's partnering, you're partnering with Carroll County Public Schools. It's what we do best in Carroll County. We all get along and work together and maximize stuff, so thank you.
Yeah, you definitely tell a consistent story, and that's always important. What is the money itself going to be used for? Is it equipment, personnel? Is it?
It's predominantly for personnel, so the largest portion of it is a contract essentially for the CMC to produce. That's predominantly staffing.
Yeah.
And so it envisions the creation of 20 episodes done in 10 production tranches, essentially.
Right.
So we try to maximize efficiency by doing multiple shows at the same time.
Well, are you going to use the state's attorney? I mean, he has a face for radio, so I'm not sure.
Absolutely do. There's no question about it. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Well, it's important having local faces and telling this story, right?
Such as they are.
Such as they are.
Yeah, because we know that creates a level of authenticity, and that's often what makes a difference. When hearing that message,
Yeah.
being able to absorb the emotional, I'll call it payload, if you will, right? That has an impact, and that was clear when we did the pilot. Those were emotional moments that people were revealing their stories, and when people see that and experience that, our hope is that they don't have to go through the same level of depth and
Sharing.
Now we get to look at upfitting 3 sheriff's vehicles.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, gentlemen.
If you'd indulge me for just a second, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our new Bureau Chief of Fleet Management Warehouse Operations, Kevin Lewis.
Good morning.
Nice to meet you.
Kevin comes to the county with a strong background, 32 years in automotive businesses, and actually was a promotion from within. He had been our shop foreman and was successfully promoted to be our new bureau chief, and I would say has hit the ground running with all the snow events and maintenance of equipment to last weekend's fuel crises that we dealt with. So it's, again, my pleasure to introduce him before we begin.
Welcome and congratulations.
I appreciate that.
We got a few emails about that, so the job is challenging.
That's what I'm hired for. Thank you.
All right. The Office of Procurement, in cooperation with the Bureau of Fleet Management and Warehouse Operations, requests your approval to use Priority Install LLC to complete the upfitting of 3 Carroll County Sheriff's Office vehicles in the amount of $76,209. This includes all parts, labor, installation, and delivery. Priority Install LLC is a current term contractor with Carroll County, and this amount is approved in the fiscal year 25 budget.
Okay, these 3 units, they've already been approved, so we're just looking for the approval of the upfitting to bring them up to operating standard. Once they are ready, the vehicles that are going to be replaced should give us about 4,000 to 7,000 at a average at auction.
I'll move the commissioners approve the use of term contractor Priority Install LLC to complete upfitting, of 3 Carroll County Sheriff's Office vehicles in the amount of $76,209.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners.
Now, Technology Services to talk about replacement computer equipment.
Good morning.
You here alone and unafraid?
Mark should be on his way. We called him so we can wait.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you very much.
I think Mr. Ripper's on his way as we speak.
And so why don't you go through the
The Office of Procurement, in cooperation with the Department of Technology Services, requests your approval to purchase replacement computer equipment for technology services stock from Dell Computer Corporation in the amount of $50,000. This purchase is being made through a Maryland state contract that was awarded to Dell. The amount is within the FY25 adopted budget.
I mean, it seems like a pretty straightforward request or purchase, procure. I mean,
Yep.
if everybody's all right, I'm happy to make a motion to proceed.
Sure.
The Board of Commissioners approves the purchase of replacement computer equipment to Dell Computer Corporation in the amount of $50,000.
Second.
I have a motion in 2 seconds. Any further questions,
You're
discussion?
fast today.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We just approved you.
Go away. Thank you.
They did a good job.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Ag Land Preservation, Wayne K. Thomas property.
Anglo, like Anglo-Saxon,
Yeah, Anglo land or something. I don't know where it was.
medieval era.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I appreciate this time to come before you today. And we are starting with 2 county applicants today. The first applicant is for like I said, the county program. And I'm going to go through these names one time, and then it will become the Thomas Farm.
It's a bunch of them.
Wayne K. Thomas, Daniel L. Thomas, Nancy L. Thomas, and Wayne K. Thomas, the personal representative of the estate of Marion E. Thomas property, located at 3501 Hanover Pike in Manchester. This is where the property is located. It's 79.93 acres, where we'll be retiring 7 lot rights, and the fair market value of the land only is $718,708.95 per county points-based appraisal. The cost of the county would be $503,096.27, which works out to $6,294.21 per acre, which is 70% of the fair market value. This is where the farm sits in relation to other preserved properties in the area. Some of the Christmas trees here.
Awesome.
This is a big Christmas tree farm in Manchester, a place a lot of Carroll Countyans and others have gone to get their Christmas trees. It's kind of a landmark in that area, and the Thomases are looking forward to getting this preserved. So once again, we're here to approve or to consider approval of the Thomas Farm located at 3501 Hanover Pike in Manchester at 79.93 acres. We're retiring 7 lot rights with a fair market value of $718,708.95 with a cost to the county of $503,096.27.
What took them so long? Process from
So I think early on,
Yeah.
they were just very unsure about the offer price. And then when Ms. Thomas passed away, we were moving forward, and they hadn't opened the estate and settled the estate, so that took a bunch more time.
Right.
So it's just, there's just a lot of factors, and just a lot of times depends on subordinations and a lot of different things.
Beautiful piece of property.
And because of the tree farm, part of this was agricultural in typical terms, but a lot of it was the tree farm. But I think it's, and I didn't realize, I don't know why, the 7 lot rights, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's mostly because of SB 236, or we would be retiring more lot rights.
Your district.
Oh, okay. So you two aren't going to fight over the motion? I'm okay?
I don't fight.
We fight over the second.
I move the Board of County Commissioners exercise an option to purchase an easement on the Thomas property, since you said all the names, in the amount of $503,096.27.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Now, I'm saying, go ahead.
Oh,
Next.
I'm sorry. You want to go ahead and,
No, they're separate items, but now we want to talk about Dwayne and
Arbuthnot?
Arbuthnot.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So I didn't mean to steal your thunder on that. This is, we're winding down any remainder properties that we accepted into the program a couple years ago. This is one of those. This is the Dwayne and Janice Arbuthnot property located at 2427 Coon Club Road in Westminster. This is the property here outlined in red. It's 51.28 acres. We're retiring 0 lot rights, but we still are retiring any commercial development potential that's on the farm. The fair market value of the land only is $124,342.78. That may seem low, but that is considering no residential development through our points-based appraisal system. And this will be at a cost of $87,039.94, which works out to $1,697.17 per acre, which is 70% of that fair market value computed through our points-based appraisal. Here's how the property sits in relation to other easement properties in the area. So those farms to the left are eligible for preservation. 2 farms over is one of our critical farms that's been approved in an earlier session and is now currently down at Mouth to be settled. Here's a picture of the farm.
Beautiful.
And once again, we're here for consideration of the Dwayne and Janet Arbuthnot property, 2427 Coon Club Road in Westminster, 51.28 acres, retiring 0 remaining 0 lot rights, and this is a remaining portion, as I mentioned. The fair market value of the land only is $124,342.78 at a cost to the county of $87,039.94.
And this is actually in District 3, this part
It
of Coon
is.
Club.
I move the Board of County Commissioners exercise an option to purchase an easement on the Dwayne and Janice Arbuthnot property in the amount of $87,039.94.
Second.
A motion, a second. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
One more.
Yes, sir. All right.
Oh, this one's got music.
Well, tried my little F5 trick, but that didn't work. All right, today we're here again before you for the final approval of a Critical Farms applicant. Donald Glenn Lenzner Jr. is a contract purchaser of 3818 Old Tawnytown Road in Tawnytown. Like I said, it's 3818 Old Tawnytown Road in Tawnytown, Maryland. It's a 62-acre farm, retiring 6 lot rights in District 1. The appraisal value of the land only was $943,000. Mr. Lenzner's purchase price is $800,000. So the cost to the county would be $420,000, which is 52.5% of the purchase price, since it is lower than the appraised value of the land only. And that's the farm there, outlined in red. It's the original parcel from 1963.
Wow.
Here's how it fits in with other preserved land in the area. We're closing up that gap quite well. So once again, we're here to consider final approval for Donald Glenn Lenzner Jr., contract purchaser of 3818 Old Tawnytown Road in Tawnytown, 62.07 acres, retiring 6 lot rights in District 1, with the appraised value of $943,000, a purchase price for Mr. Lenzner of $800,000, with a cost to the county at $420,000, which is 52.5% of the purchase price, which is the lower of the two.
I'll make a motion to exercise the option to purchase for Donald Glenn Lenzner Jr. through the Critical Farms program in the amount of $420,000.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. This will, add another 200 acres to our 80,600 acre total. So we appreciate your help.
Yep.
Thanks for all your work on this, too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any public comment on the phone?
No, sir, I have no one on the line.
Okay, do we have public comment
Yes.
here?
Yes, we do. Andrew Manning.
Good morning.
I didn't see any storage closets or phone booths on the way up here, so you'll have to excuse me. Okay. Yeah, just real quick, I only get 3 minutes here, so that's why I always got like a 50-50 chance I don't mess this up. But you know what they say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't make, so. All right, I'm ready. All right. Okay. Hi, my name is Don Quiones. Sorry. I already messed it up there. Okay. What was I gonna say now? Oh, got myself all flustered. I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to give me a moment. Okay. All right. Hi, my name is Don Quiones. I would kindly ask that this Board of Commissioners refer to me as by my pronouns. My pronoun, Jack. And as you can see, I'm here today to speak with you about several topics. I already messed it up. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip that part. I'm going to go ahead and get to I messed up my introduction there. All right, so the reason I'm here today is I want to talk to the Board of Commissioners and the public about an atrocity that's happening in our county. We have several companies that are, now, you know, a lot of times these companies will take their signs, for example, and you put the little spokes in them and you put them in the ground. Put them on public property, you know, people driving by, they see them, they want to, you know, spread the word of your business, okay? We have a couple guys here that are taking their signs, and what they're doing is they're putting them in the ground, but they're also zip tying them to the telephone poles and whatnot, energy. I don't really know the difference between the power lines and the telephone poles, but just this morning, you can see what I cut here off of just random posts and signs at Center Street and the light at 140. So you can see that these have been there for months. I would kindly ask the police officers to drive by to please take the time to, you know, it takes a matter of seconds. Put your lights on, get out of your vehicle, and just cut this nonsense out. I'm not gonna lie. 3 minutes goes by so fast. Yeah, I'm gonna have to scrap this. I'm gonna have to scrap this presentation today. I messed it up. Got to get that introduction right. Those first impressions are key. So that being said, I got 30 seconds left. I'm gonna go ahead and call it today. You know, yeah, this is. I messed it up. I had a nice little thing I was gonna say, but you know, that's what happens. Just like you mentioned there, authenticity, you know what I'm saying, man? If you know, if I wasn't authentic and I came in here all picture perfect, you know, it wouldn't be real. So we'll just have to call it this time, and I'll have to give it a shot another time. All right, Commissioners?
I gotta ask.
Thank you.
What's the purpose? What? I mean, don't worry about the clock. Just why are you here? Just in a few seconds.
That I can answer, sir.
Okay.
This was part of what I was gonna say, and I can answer it relatively quickly. See, I actually applied for a show some years back. I did such a good job that they offered me a position. I had to turn them down. I decided that, given all the circumstances, I prefer to try to run for president one day.
Okay.
So this is, not only am I trying to rewrite the past and fix the mistakes that I made, not, you know, getting those opportunities and taking them full advantage. So I'm trying to get back on my horse, as they say.
Got it. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was the only one? So, we now need a motion for the approval of the minutes for the closed meeting.
So moved?
Regarding legal advice.
And,
It was
Oh, I'm
regarding
sorry.
legal
it's a couple, so let's start out with the February 12th? February 18th, February 18th. So that one so moved.
So moved for the 18th for legal advice.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now for February 20.
Motion to approve minutes from February 20 for public safety.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Administrative session open. Or do any commissioners have any topics they would want to discuss or bring up?
No, sir.
Nope. None for me.
Time for the agenda queen.
Morning, Wanda.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm
Now-
well, thank you.
Now, I said last week, which totally wasn't true, that I started on the wrong week, and she looked at me and called me names and cursed at me and said, "You're not smart enough to read."
I have no recollection of
None of
this.
that happened. I made that up.
I have no recollection.
So let me try to do it right this week. Monday, March 3rd, shows no activities. Tuesday, March 4th, Board of County Commissioners open session, budget overview. 1 p.m., Board of County Commissioners closed admin session. Do we need to say why?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
The Board of County Commissioners closed admin session 1 o'clock on Tuesday.
It's good enough.
Okay. Wednesday, 2 p.m., Overdose Prevention Policy Group, Commissioner Guerin. And we got a bunch of emails about that. I'm totally confused whether it was canceled or we got like 4 or 5 emails in a row.
Oh, really? Okay, thank you. I'll have to follow up on that.
Yeah, I think it's on, but it's they kept correcting themselves.
Okay, thank you.
Maryland Blueprint Town Hall with Superintendent McCabe at Century High School, Commissioner Rothstein. Planning and Zoning, Commissioner Gordon. Second public hearing for Elk Development Cape Horn Solar Project, and that's at the Activities Building up at the Carnival Ground, Commissioner Kyler. On Thursday, March 6th, 8 a.m. closed admin, 9 a.m. open session, Priority Carol, Adult Drug Court. Do we need legislative update
For,
on next Thursday?
no. I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Priority Carol, item 2, adult drug court submission. Item 3, grant submission and application acceptance award for a circuit court. Item 4, grant submission and application award for circuit court. And, okay, item 5, we have all the judge stuff first, and then legislative. We did get some public comments, although he's a great judge and I think he loves coming to our meetings. We did get some public comments that we made him wait too long and we should make him first. So we've done that.
Well, he's a judge. This is an honorable sequence of events for the
Yes,
agenda.
yes.
seriously?
Item 6, blueprint fiscal compliance, Superintendent McCabe. Item 7, town-county agreement with Mount Airy. Item 8, occupational physicals drug testing for fire EMS. Item 9, regional airports automated weather observation station. Item 10, pool demolition and grading on parcel 5 at the regional airport. Public comment, administrative session open, agenda review at 1 p.m. Oh, that's a virtual presentation with Carl Anderson, Commissioner Rothstein. And the master plan that day is 1 to 7 at Eldersburg Library, and Commissioner Rothstein will stop by there. Friday, Saturday shows open, and it's Commissioner Gordon's podcast. Any changes, corrections for that week? Monday, March 10th, Transit Advisory Council, Commissioner Kyler. On Tuesday, Chesapeake Connect reception at the National Aquarium, Commissioner Rothstein. 5:30, Ag Center Annual Dinner Meeting, Commissioners Gordon, Kyler, and Vigliotti. At 7 p.m., Ag Center Board Meeting, Commissioner Kyler. I'm not sure they will do both, but they may. On Wednesday, March 12th, Farm Museum Board Meeting, Commissioner Vigliotti. Board of Education Meeting at their boardroom in Westminster, and we show no one attending that. On Thursday, 8 a.m. closed admin, 9 a.m. open session. First item, National Ag Day Proclamation. Item 2, legislative update. Item 3, request approval to proceed with public hearing on Chapter 90. Consideration of 5-year annual plan for fiscal 25 through 29 by the Bureau of Housing. Item 5, proposed text amendments to chapters 155 and 156. Item 6, annual transportation plan. public comment, admin open, agenda review. At 1 p.m., Board of County Commissioners open session, position committee recommendation, agency hearing with HR. Friday shows no activity. Saturday at 4:30, Pleasant Valley Community Fire Company's anniversary banquet, Commissioner Vigliotti. And it is Commissioner Guerin's turn to do the podcast. Any corrections, changes to that? Any other admin open items? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Have a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.